The only title we don't have is the Champions League, guys.
RB Leipzig.
And nobody's going to give us that.
Manchester City FC.
If you want, you have to take it.
Foden in the penalty area. Can he get his shot away? You bet he can. City lead 2-0. Now to Bruyne. On to Stones. Stones hits it! Finally, they've broken Dortmund down. Grealish keeps on going, and he gets to the edge of the D, and on it goes towards Mahrez, and infield to Alvarez, and it's 5-0 City. Mahrez to give City what would be a deserved lead. Oh, he's denied by Grabara.
We'll try until the end.
Mahrez on towards Alvarez. Saved by Korbel.
You have to be positive until the end. And the end.
Now City have the chance. Rico Lewis in the area and scores! It is a dream night for Rico Lewis!
Ready, guys? Yeah? Hello and welcome to Germany. My name is FG and we are here for the round of 16 UEFA Champions League game against RB Leipzig. This is set to be an exciting fixture. Last year, when the two teams met, there was 12 goals across the two games. Man City now have Erling Haaland, who has got 6 goals in his last 4 appearances against RB Leipzig. Join me as I've got a text. We're in Germany, we hope Man City win, but first, you're going to meet a supporters club in Berlin. I'm going to Berlin. Over to you in the studio, Natalie.
So much to FG, literally living his best life every single day. Welcome to Matchday Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are absolutely thrilled to be back here in another knockout stage of the Champions League as we take on RB Leipzig away in the first leg of our last 16. So excited, love the knockout stages of the Champions League. And of course, it's getting to the business end now of Europe's most prestigious competition, and City are back again in the knockouts to try and claim our maiden victory. As we know, this isn't our first meeting with Leipzig in the Champions League. We met them in the groups last year, and I'm sure you remember that incredible 6-3 win that we had at home. What a game of football that was. And of course, then we had the 2-1 defeat away. That loss was only 1 out of the previous 17 games against German opponents. What a fantastic record for City, considering the real calibre of German opposition over previous years. Thank you again for joining us on tonight's Matchday Live. And for a big game, we do love to get in an incredible panel of guests to join us. We have Paul Dickov, Karen Bardsley and Darius Vassell. Welcome to you all. Lovely to see you all. Karen, how are you firstly?
I'm super, thanks. Yeah, happy to be here. Nice and busy.
Always good to hear. Are you excited about the knockout stages of the Champions League?
Yeah, no, it's great to have it back. I think tonight's going to be an amazing game. I can't wait to see it. Just all the transition, like especially the run of form that both teams are in. I'm really looking forward to it tonight.
So it's about a minute now until team news. The second that I'm allowed to give it you, I will. You know that Matchday Live is the first place that you ever get your team news. So in just under a minute, I will let you know the starting 11 for this evening. Darius, are you looking forward to the game tonight?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to the game. I'm a little bit nervous from obviously what happened at the weekend, but I'm sure that City will come through. I really do hope they do.
Darius is a little bit nervous. I'm presuming you are always Mr. Optimistic. You feeling good?
Yeah, confident. We were a bit nervous this time last week before the Arsenal game when we were sitting here, weren't we? So I'm a lot more relaxed tonight, and it's going to be a great game. You know, Leipzig are in good run of form in the Bundesliga. Gave us good games before, and they beat us last year. Although we did the 6-3 game here, we were fantastic, but they looked a real threat going forward as well, and they will again tonight.
They are in an incredible a scarily good run of form at the minute. I think it's one in the last 14 or one in the last 17 they've only lost in the Bundesliga. They're an incredible run of form at the minute. So we are guaranteed that it is going to be a really great game tonight. And I can, this second, give you the team news for tonight's game. This is City's starting 11. And there is 3 changes from the team that drew with Forest at the weekend. Of course, we already knew that Laporte and that Kevin De Bruyne did not travel with the team. So the starting 11 is Ederson, Walker, Akanji, Diaz, Ake, Rodri, Gundogan, who is of course captain, Silva, Mahrez, Grealish and Haaland. And your subs bench for tonight does have some interesting names as well, and that is Ortega, Carson, Phillips, Alvarez, Gomez, Peroni, Foden. That is Shea Charles, Palmer, Lewis and Robertson. So a couple of our EDS players making the bench for tonight's Champions League game. That is your City starting 11 and your City subs for tonight's game. So straight away, Dickie, what do you think? A team you were expecting?
Yeah, I think McKevin, obviously been ill, and Emerick Laporte been ill as well. The natural thing is to bring Nathan Ake in, who's been sensational. Probably most consistently our best player this season. Looks as if he'll come in at left back, and moving Bernardo Silva from, well, not left back because he plays he's been everywhere the last couple of games anyway, into the middle, and then the front three's been outstanding. You know, Riyad's been fantastic for us, especially in the Champions League. Jack, for me, has been our best attacking player over the last couple of months, and the big man up front. So yeah, it's a team it's probably the strongest team they could have picked. I know Phil's on the bench, still finding his way coming back. Alvarez, and good to see the youngsters there as well. What a fabulous experience for them.
Yeah, incredible experience for them. We can see the players are arriving now, looking very dapper there as well. loving those outfits. So Paul mentioned Jack Grealish there, Darius. He's actually created more chances than any other City player in the Champions League this season. He's actually only second to Kingsley Coman at Bayern Munich, which is incredible. Obviously had some standout performances as well, particularly in that Copenhagen game. Champions League for him, we know it was a big reason why he came to the club as well, so he's really going to be looking to continue his good form tonight.
Of course, yes. Champions League is a great stage for him. And, since he came to the club, there's been questions asked, and he seems to be answering them right now. He's in a great run of form. He's getting a run of games, and he's showing the City fans and the players what he's capable of. That stat that you said there, he will be really proud of that. That's really important to the team. If he can add goals to that as well, he'll look more like the complete player.
Of course, attacking and goals has been on all of our minds since the weekend, Karen. You know, we know how many chances we had against Forest, and we know that we ended up paying for the fact that we weren't converting them. So a lot of eyes are going to be on our attack tonight. I'm sure Erling Haaland is quite happy when there's a lot of eyes on him. But do you feel like we've got something to prove again tonight? Do you think the attackers got something to prove?
I wouldn't say they've got anything to prove to anyone other than themselves and us. You know, I think we know exactly what they're capable of doing. They know exactly what they're capable of doing. And I think, yeah, I mean, you got to give some credit to Forest for defending as, furiously as they did. And Keylor Navas obviously came up pretty big in a lot of different occasions. But I think, City always seem to put things right when they've had a bit of a blip, and I expect they're going to take it out on RB Leipzig tonight. And, to your point earlier around Jack Grealish's run of form, he might have had a bit of trouble finding his feet earlier when he first joined, but it seems like he's really understanding, when to take his time, when to attract pressure, when to get overloads in that wide space and to attract the opposition across. So I think, we''ll see a lot of great services into Haaland tonight, but I think also within their own rights, Mahrez and Grealish are probably, I just have a feeling they're going to be exceptional tonight.
Yes, Riyad Mahrez, for me, I often call him Mr. Champions League because he's always
he shows up, right?
He shows up in the big games. Of course, Erling Haaland is our top scorer in the competition, still Darius this year, but after him it's Julian Alvarez and Riyad Mahrez. Especially after the World Cup break, it really feels like Riyad has come back and just absolutely just stormed it since then. Do you sort of see him the same as I do in the Champions League?
A little bit, yeah. He's the talisman, isn't he, of the club, certainly in the Champions League. His performances have been exceptional, and tonight, City could do with him, bringing that to the table again. Obviously, they've got options, but looking at him there, he's licking his lips. He can't wait. I'm sure we'll see something special from him again tonight.
if obviously in the season when we went to the final, he was phenomenal. I mean, I always think he's brilliant in the Champions League, but it feels like perhaps, Paul, if we're going to replicate the great run again, we're going to need him. We're going to need him to step up tonight.
We are, and I think they will. And him and Jack, you know, and going back to Karen and Darius before, I think Jack's taken it upon himself now to be the main player in the team. You know, and I think with Kevin De Bruyne not being there now, the top players in the big games, they want to show everybody how good they are. And with Kevin being out tonight, it's an opportunity for Jack and Riyad to go and show everybody how good they are. But both wide players have been absolutely fantastic. And talking about Riyad in the Champions League this season, he's been excellent for us as well. You know, the chances created, scoring a lot of goals, and it's as if they're saying, "Well, come on then, yeah, we are top players, and we're going to show everybody."
I love seeing the shots of them when before the games like that, how calm and composed and chilled they look. Before a game like this, Darius, are they going out there to just check out the stadium, check out the ground? What do you think is going through their heads?
I think they're just settling themselves, being relaxed. Obviously, they're going through probably mentally and internally what's going to be required of them in the game. But to be relaxed and composed is very important in games like this. In precious situations, you do need composure, and I think that's certainly something which leads up to it. Just you speaking there about those on both wings, I was just thinking, imagine to be a forward and have those either side. You know, you're going to come onto Haaland at some point, I guess, but I mean, it's a great feeling as a forward to have them either side.
They look calm and composed, but they'll have that fire in their belly.
Absolutely.
As soon as you get on that coach and you get into the stadium, you start getting a lot more excited and you start visualising things, what's going to happen in the game. I wasn't that calm. I was climbing the walls half the time. Every time I was there, I couldn't wait to get out there. But then they'll be the exact same. But saying that, they'll be calm on the outside, but have that fire in the belly inside, because they're top players and they all know how to react and play in top games as well.
I just love the smell of going out on the pitch
Yeah.
and kind of like all the sensory things. Do you remember that? Like
Yeah, you take it all in, don't
right,
you?
Yeah, you kind of get up for it. What's that?
As soon as you got off that coach and you go in the changing room, the smell of the changing room, then
but like
the tunnel.
you get an idea of the feel, the pitch. You know, if it's hard, if it's going to take a stud, what that's going to be like. If it's going to be zippy, you know, like focal points in the ground and things like that. So I always really got into a habit of doing it when I was younger, but then I realized that when I got older, I kind of knew what it was going to be like, so I kind of stopped doing it a little bit and just stayed in for the banter and the changes.
I love that. And is it different as well, I guess, if you're travelling to grounds like in the Champions League or you're travelling internationally and they're not grounds that you play at regularly and they're not grounds that you play at every year? Is that even more important to go and just see it before you go out?
I think sometimes it is helpful to kind of get, you know, your bearings, just kind of understand what it's going to look like in certain moments. I think there's players that are at different, you know, psychological preparation levels and stuff, and, you know, they'll have like key targets to look for and things like that. But ultimately, it's about just enjoying the moment, isn't it?
I think as well, because, correct me if I'm wrong, the training the night before in the stadium as well, to get a feel for it. So if I've not been there before.
Yeah, they would have been there.
Yeah, so if you do that, you kind of get an idea. But it's so special. I feel like I can smell it now.
Yeah, I know.
And just quickly, Paul, before we go on, two players that I just want to have a quick word of that we mentioned that are on the bench tonight: Shea Charles, Alexander Robertson. In the EDS squad. Shea Charles has been at the club since he was 9, which I just love. I love these stories. We both saw them in the Girona game, the friendly that we had, and I remember particularly Shea Charles we were really impressed with.
He was outstanding, and considering he's normally a 6, a midfielder, he played centre half that day, and how composed he was on the ball. And I think for Riyad's goal, he was the one that stepped in to midfield and broke the lines and gave it to Riyad. Not that Riyad then squared it for Erling, obviously, to score another goal. But defensively, he looked great considering he was a midfielder. But I was just super impressed with all the players that were around him. I'm coming in, being a City fan, being that young, just how composed he was.
Yeah, so they are both on the bench for today's game. Love that, absolutely love that. So that's a bit of a talk about City's attacking threat today. And so far this season, we have been treated to quite a few goals in the Champions League. We are very blessed, aren't we? So we wanted to know, what is your favourite so far this season? And also, of course, get all of your opinions as well. We're running a poll on Twitter at the minute, so you can go on and have a little look and we'll let you know what is your favourite goal of the Champions League so far this season at half-time. So I've got 4 goals to show you all, and then we'll try and decide which one of of these is your favourite so far this season. So the first one we want to look at, perhaps not who you might immediately think of when you think of City's goals, but it was John Stones. John Stones versus Dortmund. So do you remember this goal at the time, Paul?
I do, because when it went in, there was that sort of silence as if to say, is John Stones just done that? But it was a big goal because they were 1-0 down at this point.
It was about the build-up as well, wasn't it? Because, like, it was one of those things where possess, and then no one was pressing. It was like, well, I might as well just shoot. And we saw that a few years ago with Vinny Company, and everyone was like, no! And they just went and did it in absolute top bins.
It's an unbelievable strike as well, the power behind it. And as I said, that was a big goal.
Even he was surprised, wasn't he?
I think everybody was shocked. Like, has he just done that?
Love that. Okay, so that's clearly a definite contender. So from John Stones to Erling Haaland, also against Dortmund.
Oh, right. Behave.
Yeah.
So Haaland versus Dortmund. What are we making of this one?
I would have dislocated my hip if I'd
And the rest, yeah.
I'd be getting stretchered off.
How's he got that high?
Honestly.
The ball, just everything about it.
Even the
the
delivery.
boarding, yeah.
Yeah, it defies. Most players would head it. If they're not going to head it, they would probably go with their right foot.
It's a great goal, and I'm currently coaching forwards at the moment. I'm thinking, what session do I put on to practice that? That's impossible.
You do that in the gym, don't you? Like with a black belt.
Yes. Incredible flexibility there from Erling Haaland. Okay, the next one, Julian Alvarez. So this is against Copenhagen. So, okay, so I think this one was about the build-up as well. Obviously, Jack Grealish being involved, Riyad Mahrez being involved, the whole kind of general, the team part of this, Paul, was the sort of key.
It was, and that's, we've been speaking about them already. That's your two wide players combining for your centre forward. This touch here from Riyad was fantastic, and then the composure on the outside of the foot just lays it on a plate. But yeah, great team goal. And it came from Jack driving in from the left at the heart of the defence, and yeah.
As a forward, those are the finishes you want, though, isn't
Great,
it? Yeah, I will have that.
Yeah. You put that on a plate
stick
for me.
that in,
Yes, I'll put that away. Yes, love it. Love that one. So that was Julian Alvarez against Copenhagen. And then the last one that we're going to have a little look at, Rico Lewis. Perhaps, again, another name you weren't expecting before, but this was his goal against Sevilla. And he'd had a great game as well, I recall, Karen. So this was just the icing for him of this game.
Yeah, I remember this. I was absolutely buzzing for him when that went in. I almost feel like I got out of my seat because I was like, yes, you know, he's come through the academy. We'd seen him obviously like go through the ranks and stuff when I was still playing, and you know, for him to capitalise, I think not only is it just a solid finish from a kid, you know, that's like growing into his own, but what an occasion, you know, like it's a real, you know, he put down a marker in this game, which I thought was amazing.
I think it was his first goal as well for the club, Darius, in the Champions League.
That's amazing. And a lot of young players in that situation would have put it across the goal for somebody to slide it in.
Lash at it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, or lash at it, yeah. But he's there, he knows what he's doing. He's put it at the keeper's near post. I will say you have to score whenever you try and put it near post, otherwise you get a last stick.
So if I'm going to force you all to pick your favourite from that?
Start over there.
He's passed it.
I'm going to go for the last one. Simply, it does give me butterflies. I relate to that. A young player's coming on, scoring a goal for the club. That's important. Just for the butterfly effect feeling, I'm going to go for that one.
I love that.
I'm going to go for the Haaland goal because I remember I was in the stands and I couldn't believe what I'd actually just seen. And I remember just going, oh my goodness, like, what was this? And yeah, that's just in me now.
I think I've got to agree with Karen. I was there that night, and there was when it happened, people went mad, but then everybody was sort of thinking, did he just do
what
that?
Actually happened?
Yeah, what's just happened there? You know, the ball from Cancelo was great, but how he adjusts, I still don't know how he's done it. But on the flip side of that, it was such an important goal as well, because we threw everything at Dortmund that night, and it looked as if, I know John Stones equalised, it looked as if it was going to be a disappointing 1-0 draw after a good performance, and then the best players pull out the best moments, don't they?
Absolutely. Well, let us know what you think as well. We have a poll currently running on our Twitter, so have a little look on there and cast your vote for what is your favourite of the Champions League so far. And let's hope that there is many more to come this season. As always, do get your WhatsApp questions in for our guests. You know I love your questions. You always ask the most original questions. I'll try and get through as many of those as I can a little bit later on. Also on today's show, we we have a bit of a special giveaway for you all. Yes, to celebrate the City Store having 50% off this season's away kit. Yes, you heard that right. 50% off that beautiful away kit. We are giving away 3 of them. We're giving away 3 of them tonight, and every one of them will also, you'll be able to pick the player's name and number of your choice. So to do it, we're just going to ask you a lovely, nice, simple question, and all you have to do is WhatsApp your name, your answer and your email address, and we will pick 3 winners at random, and I will announce them to you all at full time. So if you'd like to get your hands on one of our away shirts with the player's name and number of your choice, then here is the question that you need. How many hat-tricks does Erling Haaland have for City this season? Nice and simple. I'm sure you're all immediately shouting it at your screen. How many hat-tricks has Erling Haaland scored for City this season? And we're going to make it even easier for you. Is it A1, B3 or C4? So get your answer in now. Name and email address to the WhatsApp number that's on your screen, and we'll announce 3 winners at the end of the show. And remember, yeah, they're 50% off right now on the City Store. So get onto mancity.com/shop. And also, at the minute, wow, I had to read that twice. That's amazing. You get a free player name and number on there as well. So I think as soon as my 5-year-old hears that, I'm going to have to be getting one of those for him as well. So have a little look at that, and we'll announce the winners a little bit later on. So lots of Erling Haaland admirers among us. We were looking at that incredible goal that he scored a little bit earlier as well. And of course, he has plenty of admirers over in Germany. FG hopped on a train from Leipzig to meet 3 members of the official supporters club at Belushi's Bar in Berlin.
I am in Berlin, but I am at the first German supporters club, joined by Sarah, Emir and Forat. Thank you guys for joining us. First things first, it's lovely to be in Germany. I want to ask you, there's a lot of amazing football clubs in Germany. Why did you guys choose Manchester City?
Hi, firstly, thanks so much for having us here on Matchday Live. For me, I just moved to Berlin in October. And I've supported City for a while because my dad grew up in Manchester. He grew up in Whalley Range, so he went to all the games at Main Road with his dad back in the day, and remembers when the pitch was completely mud and all that kind of thing, which is really cute. And I actually found out that my mum's great-granddad played for City in 1907 to 8.
Oh, wow, we've got some real Manchester history here.
I think it's just a thing you decide or not decide as you're growing up as a kid, you know. I was playing football and growing up watching Premier League on the weekends, especially on Sundays. I can remember those times with Petrov and Steve Ireland in the middle as a big boss. I think that decided, and a few years later that my favorite player, Edin Dzeko, came to Manchester City. It just clicked, you know, and in the last 10, 15 years, I'm standing behind City.
I love City already since, 2010, something like that. I was a kid as well, but I wasn't in Germany. I've been here for 9 years already, but still, my City journey is longer than that. And back home, everyone is like, you know, this, but it's like not football fans, it's more like Barca Real fans. And I like either you have to choose one side, and I don't like this. So I was looking outside of the box and introduced to the Premier League, South City. I love sky blue, the color.
I was just about to say, you look really, really good in sky blue.
Thank you.
Let's talk about Manchester City and your memories then, from when you started supporting the football club. What is your favourite memory watching Manchester City?
The best memory in all City fans, the Aguero goal, right? It's the one. Yeah, it's the best memory I have, and hopefully it will be replaced. Maybe it will not be replaced, but hopefully we'll get a new Champions League memory soon.
I was just wondering, it's easy, you know, and it's classy. Now it's very hard to think out of the box and decide for other moments. We now have Gundo moment also, you know, but. My memories and everything what I saw in the last 10, 15 years, I need to decide for those six 6 fingers of Edin Dzeko on Old Trafford, you know. It's something you remember, and I only see these pictures when you ask that question. Aguero moment, Gundo moment, and Edin Dzeko pointing 6 fingers on the Old Trafford.
I'm actually going to pick a really recent one, which was last season against Real Madrid in Champions, the home leg, not the away leg. I was like front row corner, and Kevin was like running down the wing, and I just screamed, "Come on, Kev!" like so loud, and then he puts a ball in the net.
So you got the assist against Real Madrid?
Yeah, you can put that down to me.
Absolutely, well, you know who to credit. Now, before we finish, we are going to do a little quiz, just to test your knowledge, to see how much you know about Manchester City. Let's start with question number 1. When was Manchester City founded?
1894.
Easy as that, it took less than a second. Absolutely spot on. Let's go with, who wore the number 10 shirt before Jack Grealish?
Before Jack Grealish, it's easy one. It's Sergio Aguero, and before Aguero it was Dzeko. Yeah, and we are back to it.
You know your number 10s.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
We're lucky to have such great
yes.
number 10s. Right, let's move on to the next question. Our number 17, our current number 17, Kevin De Bruyne, joined us from a club in Germany.
Yeah.
Can you tell me which club it was he joined from?
It's actually not far from here. It's Wolfsburg, the green guys.
The green guys, indeed. And what a signing he was. All right, let's end the quiz with a 3-pointer. It's a little bit more difficult because there's 3 answers, but it should be pretty relatively easy. Who did Manchester City play in their group stage of this competition this year? There's 3 teams I'm looking for.
Okay, so let's do teamwork. First of all, the game we went to, Dortmund.
Actually, I was there last year in summer. I can recommend it. Copenhagen, yeah.
Wow,
Just
okay.
visit.
And the last one I was never at, but Sevilla.
Sevilla, right. The way you've just passed the mic to each other and done it in sync is incredible. Thank you guys so much for having us here. It's an absolute pleasure. We can't wait to see what else is in store for Berlin and the Manchester City Supporters Club.
Thank you so much from us for having us. It's been really nice for us. It's a very new club, and we hope to have lots of new members.
Hopefully so. And make sure you enjoy the game tonight. I'm off to go and enjoy Berlin. See you guys soon.
Thanks so much to FG there. You can head over to mancity.com/supporters-clubs to join the official Berlin Supporters Club, or in fact any global branch that we have. There's sure to be one near you. And if there isn't, why don't you do what Sarah did and start your own? So that is mancity.com/supporters-clubs. Now, clearly, FG is having the time of his life in Germany. Now, if I tell you where he is now, I feel like the man might pop with excitement because we've only sent FG pitch side now at Leipzig, and he's going to give us the team news for RB Leipzig.
I sure am, Natalie. Thank you so much. Here I am again, pitch side at the Red Bull Arena, and I'm joined by RB Leipzig's creator, Ebru. And as you guys can see at home, we have got the RB Leipzig team news, which is on the screen for you now. We've seen the team, and there's a couple of standout players, Ebru, in the starting 11. Let's talk firstly about a player who we saw in England for Chelsea, and that's Timo Werner. I want to know how he's doing in Germany and how you expect him to play tonight.
Yeah, I would say he's great so far. Yeah, in England, I would say he had some problems. He was very unlucky, but in the Bundesliga, he's very great. I think he's doing many important runs for the team, so I think it's a good day for Werner today.
So you expect Werner to play really well in this team? Okay, and let's talk about any other attacking players. Is there any other attacking players in that starting 11 who you think are going to perform well?
Yeah, sure. I would say there's Szoboszlai for the team. He's in the central, and he's an important key player, I think. Many assists. He's doing very good free kicks. So I would say he's a very, very important player.
And Leipzig are in real good form. They don't lose many matches.
Yeah, very good form.
So how do you feel going into a fixture against Man City, who obviously done so well in England? And the Champions League's big for us as well.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's a very important opponent, Man City, very good team, especially international Champions League. I would say it's a tough game today, but as you said, Leipzig is in a very good form, so I would say a draw maybe against Leipzig, against City.
Okay, with all to play for in the second leg. The last two we played against each other, there were a lot of goals in the game. We now have Erling Haaland, but you've also got a centre-half who a lot of people in Europe have been talking about since the World Cup, Gvardiol. How has he been playing for Leipzig, and how far do you expect him to go?
Yeah, I would say he's definitely the most important centre-back for Leipzig. His World Cup was a very great performance, so I think Haaland has a tough game today.
Haaland has a tough game. Hey, Gvardiol also has a tough game today.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick about the bench. There's one man who everyone has been he's been shining for Leipzig, and that's Nkunku. Of course, you knew already. Do you expect him to feature in the game at all today?
It's hard. I think he will play the last 20 minutes because he had his injury, and he's important player, but we have to go slowly with him. So I hope 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Well, I mean, we would rather just keep him on the bench because he's a great player. But let's talk real quick about your score prediction. Let me get a quick score prediction for today's game.
So as I said, a draw. But the question is how many goals will come today. I would say maybe 1-1.
1-1.
What do you say?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. I'm going to say 2-1 to Man City. Let's hope for loads of goals. Let's go back to the studio with Natalie and some very special guests, including a man who recently followed me on Twitter. I know you're smiling, Paul Dickov. Me and you are best friends now. Thank you very much.
That was only because he kept following me and unfollowing me, following me and unfollowing me.
Just in real life?
For about 3 years. So that,
Did he?
No, he didn't. I'm only joking.
You felt like you had to. As if that man's life couldn't get any better now you're following him on Twitter.
What a guy.
It's peaked. You've peaked, FG. You've peaked. Thank you there for the team news as well. It's great to hear from the Leipzig side as well. Obviously, Leipzig, we heard there, they have some incredible attacking threats. They talked at the end there about Christopher Nkunku, who's obviously been injured for a while, came back at the weekend, came on as a sub in their game at the weekend. Their content creator was predicting perhaps that he might come on for 20 minutes or so. I'm quite happy to not see him in the starting lineup, by the way, being in incredible form, and obviously we've seen him up close and personal last season as well. In terms of how City, I mean, we're seeing his goals against us now. In terms of how City defend against these incredible attacking options that they have at Leipzig, Pep has said in his pre-match interview that we will be playing with a back four, but I think we expected that, Karen. Looking at the team, we expected Nathan Ake to be playing at left back.
Yeah, I think, at the weekend we saw some experimentation with Bernardo Silva, obviously, kind of in that left space centrally and then out a bit wider. But I think the biggest difference for me was when Akanji came on. I believe it was against Arsenal in the second half. And that just kind of solidified everything, I think, for me. It allowed a lot more freedom and creativity going forward. And that security behind the ball, I think, just kind of breeds confidence as well. But, Akanji's no slouch going forward either. So I think it for me, kind of changed the game and the impetus behind it. But I think, it's understanding the timing of the approach for pressure as well, making sure we're not flying out, making sure we're covering central areas and just being really deliberate, Rodri's brilliant at that, so I'm sure we'll see more of that tonight. But yeah, the threat that RB Leipzig are going to offer tonight, I mean, the pace is frightening, frankly.
Yeah. And we're seeing the goals that Nkunku scored against us. Darius, are you the same as me? You're happy to see that he's not made the starting 11?
Yeah, well, yes and no, because I think at the state of the game that he'd be coming on into, it'll suit him, to a T, depending on what the scoreline is. But when you're coming on the pitch at 20 minutes to go or 10 minutes to go, defends the tie, that's where all the mistakes are made. He might be licking his lips at that as well, so we'll have to see how that pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. I hadn't thought of it from that side. It would be stomach jump there, Darius. In terms of our defence, we've talked about Ruben Dias a few times since he's come back, but he continues to be a vital part of the centre back pair, and also the back three, the back four, whatever we're playing. He's a pivotal part of that.
Well, he's different to a lot of centre halves nowadays, but he loves to defend. First and foremost, that's how it always was. Nowadays, it seems to be, can you play first? Can you play out from the back? Are you good in the ball? And then can you defend? He can do all of it, and he's a leader when he comes in there. I completely agree with Karen. Akanji, when he came on last week, was against Arsenal. I thought he changed the game for us.
Oh, 100%.
It was going, his composure on the ball, coming out, breaking between the lines, he's passing, and he's defending. But they two looked really good last week when they were paired together. And I can't speak highly enough of Nathan Ake. You know, wherever he's been asked to play, whether he's in the team, whether he's out the team, he's been an outstanding professional. And sometimes people can say that's not really a compliment, but he's a top player alongside that as well. And Kyle Walker, didn't he get sent off here last year, didn't he?
He did. It was the 2-1
stupid
game.
little kick-out.
We'd already finished top of the league, top of our group.
Yep. And he was out the team for a little bit after that. I don't think Pep was too happy with him kicking out the way he did. So a little point to prove for all the back four tonight.
Oh, I like that. That's a great point because that sending off ended up really affecting the campaign going forward as well. In terms of RB Leipzig, they have an incredible season, Darius. I mean, they're flying in the Bundesliga. Although they're sitting in 5th, it's so incredibly tight in the Bundesliga this season. Playing at home tonight, do you think they are going to want out? Are they going to want to go with a couple of goals breathing? What do you think their tactics are going to be with being at home first?
I think their tactics will be the tactics that they've been playing all season. They'll be confident. They'll feel like they've got the advantage. We had a brief look at the team and their last results, obviously prior to the show, and they're on great form. So they'll be confident tonight. They've probably got the advantage having that home tie first, possibly. They should believe it that way. And it's going to be a tough night for City, but City have got everything needed to come through it.
Do you think they were looking perhaps at our result at the weekend, Karen, and thinking, oh, this is a good time to play them?
Oh, it depends, I suppose, how you approach that, because I think, City always seem to rebound incredibly well after a bit of a disappointment, So, if you choose to look at it that way, then I think, they might be a bit nervous about what they're going to face tonight. But no, I completely agree with your point around, the run of form has been exceptional from RB Leipzig. They've picked up some confidence against Wolfsburg, getting Nkunku back in and on the score sheet. But they're an aggressive team. The transitions are lightning quick. So they'll be looking to counterattack. And in the past, we've been exposed, trying to play expansive. But tonight, it could potentially cause some different issues. There might be a lot of congestion in the midfield. So, Leipzig might get some joy down the channels, down the flanks. But it'll be interesting to see how we deal with that in the moment.
I think if the 2 games last season are anything to go by, I don't think they'll change. I know we ended up scoring 6 goals at the Etihad, but they came out to attack us. Every time they didn't sit back at all in both games. And I know we'd already qualified out there when they beat us 2-1. But they're a very, very attack-minded team who like to do it. And if they look at the result against Forest, I think that'll be quite dangerous for them. But I'm sure they've looked at the performance against Forest. And for me, it sounds crazy. I know it was a disappointing result. But for me, it was one of the best performances we've had this season.
Oh, OK.
How we kept the ball, how we controlled the game, the chances we created. It could have been 4-5-0.
So you weren't disheartened after the Forest game?
Not obviously when the result comes in, you're like, oh no, we've conceded late on. But when you watch the game as a whole, I thought we were outstanding in how we played. I thought we actually played better at Forest on Saturday, drawing 1-1 than we did when we beat them 5-0 earlier on in the season. The performance was better. So they've just got to take that into tonight. And it was interesting because Kyle came out afterwards and sort of said that shouldn't happen, that it wasn't good enough. And then Pep came out and says, well, it was. He was super impressed with how we played. And so they just need to take that into tonight.
Yeah, the frustrations of football, when you can play that good and not win. But it's part of the reason why we love this sport so much, isn't it? So that's our thoughts on what our guests think of both the teams for tonight. Let's hear now some of the thoughts of our fans that are out in Leipzig. FG has been catching up with some of the travelling blues.
Hello, it's FG here, and I am on the ground in Leipzig, surrounded by loads of Manchester City fans, and I've only gone and found my favourite Manchester City fan, and a lot of people's watching at home. It's Big Steve. Big Steve, what have you made of Leipzig so far?
Yeah, it's a nice city. Everyone's relaxed and chilled out. It's not as crazy as Dortmund. A lot of City fans coming in the square now. The atmosphere is building nice, so yeah, we're looking forward to the game.
This is as big as it gets when it's knockout football in the Champions League. We've been trying so hard to do well in this competition. Is this the year where we go all the way?
I'm looking at that big Erling Haaland flag over there, so hopefully with him up front this could be the year, but there's a bit of optimism about it. Obviously the league form's not been what it's been over the past 3 or 4 seasons, but in the Champions League something's brewing, I think.
Something's brewing. You've heard from the man himself, Big Steve. You rarely get predictions wrong. Let's talk about the initial first game. Leipzig are in really, really good form. They seem to be not as straightforward as people are saying. What do you think about the game tonight?
I think it's going to be tough. I think we've got to respect them. They're on a good run of form. I think they need to score goals tonight, and because the Etihad's a daunting place, so I think they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us.
Well, they are, and hopefully we can hit them on the break. We're looking at. Let me get a score prediction from you, an exact score prediction.
I'm going to go Manchester City 2, Leipzig 1.
I hope you're right. We will take anything today. I mean, goals, whatever, a win away from home. It's Champions League knockout day. We're ready to go. I'm off to go and find some more fans around the area. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, mate.
So I am joined by Manchester City fan Carter, who travels all across England and now abroad to watch Manchester City. Carter, what's made you support Man City and why do you love them so much?
Because my dad brought me up to be a City fan because I follow the team that he supports, and I just love Manchester City because they're the best team in the world.
They're the best team in the world. Are you excited for the game against Leipzig today?
Yeah, of course I am.
And what is your score prediction?
2-0 City.
2-0 to Man City, you've heard it here. From the man himself, Carter, keep supporting City and keep enjoying it. It's a good time to be a City fan, isn't it?
Yes, good time to be alive.
Thank you, mate. OK, back in the centre of Leipzig, I'm joined by Manchester City fan Paul. You've travelled from Belfast today, haven't you? How was your journey getting to Leipzig?
Hard to be fair. But we got a bus at 20 to 2 in the morning to go to Dublin, and we had to fly to Berlin. But we made it, and we're happy.
The things you do for Manchester City.
Absolutely right.
Let's talk about the game real quick. It's the knockout stage of the Champions League. Paul, how are you feeling?
So confident, very confident. Very confident. I think we'll win 2-0 tonight.
OK, I like it. That was my next question. Paul's very confident. Fingers crossed we can get the result and have a good stay and a safe journey home as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, I am joined by Manchester City supporter Sue. You're from Germany, right?
Yeah, I'm from Germany.
So how far away do you live from Leipzig?
1 hour.
Amazing. So I just want to ask you, we did catch up with some other supporters from Germany yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what made you fall in love with Manchester City?
I was fan since Leroy Sané played by City. So I went to Gelsenkirchen in Germany when I think it was in 2019 City played against Schalke. And there I met some City fans and they talked to me a lot, and so I became a fan of this club and this fans. So
Amazing.
Now I'm a fan.
We absolutely love that. Let me just get your score predictions really quick before the game tonight.
I think 3-1 for City.
3-1 for City. Hopefully Sue is right. Sue, it's really, really nice to meet you, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
I loved that. What a variety of City fans have travelled to Leipzig. And I did notice there FG saying that Big Steve were these favourite City fan. I noticed that, FG, although I'm guessing since he met Carter, it's probably Carter now, because Carter was brilliant there, slightly schooling FG as well. We love that. Shout out to you, Carter, and of course to all of the travelling Blues. So we've looked at City's defence so far. We've had a look at City's attack as well. So I thought we'd just have a little quick chat about City's midfield, because of course, Karen, we got the news yesterday that Kevin De Bruyne hasn't travelled. Pep said in his press conference that he is ill. Any game that Kevin misses is always a concern for me. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I just really enjoy watching him play anytime, so I was a bit disappointed that he wasn't going to obviously be involved tonight. And I think, you know, he's such a creative player. The amount of assists, I mean, we saw earlier the assist that he gave to Gundo, you know, in the Villa game, the 3-2 Villa game. And it's moments like that, you know, the impact that he can have, that hopefully we don't miss too much tonight. But, you know, that's the level of the caliber of Kevin De Bruyne. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that we won't be seeing him tonight, but there's no shortage of talent in the midfield.
Are you concerned at all, Paul, that he's not playing?
Not really. He's missed games before, and other players come in and step up. You know, a midfield three of Gundo, Rodri and Bernardo Silva is not too bad, is it? You know, they're top quality players. They've played in that system. They've played together a lot as well. So Kevin De Bruyne for any team is always a miss, because for me, I keep saying it, he's the best midfielder, if not the best player in the world at times. So you're going to miss that, but the quality we've got, the strength and depth we've got, and the quality and depth we've got is there for everybody to see.
Yeah, and the depth that Bernardo Silva's been providing lately, Darius, has been incredible. I've so enjoyed watching him lately. He won't be playing left-back tonight, so what sort of position are you expecting from him?
He'll be all over the park. He'll pick up the ball and he'll do his bits and pieces. Wherever he can be effective, you'll probably find him. when he was playing left back, I was at the game a few weeks back, and when we seen him there at left back, it was like, what is going on? And it was effective, strangely enough. He's a player who needs to be on the ball. He's a player who needs to get his head up and pick options out. He could be the difference today. Obviously, with De Bruyne missing, I mean, it's a shame, but as Paul said, the players that they've got to take the place, there's options there, and I think it's a chance again and an opportunity for those to show what they're capable of.
I mean, can I, if I may, like,
Yes, please.
Bernardo is he's a fantastic player, top engine, gets around the pitch, you know, wants to get involved and create overloads where he can, you know, so we saw him going on the inside, getting up the field, you know, so he's more than happy to join in and create that forward overload as well, you know, and, you know, there's been arguments recently, haven't there, about, you know, is there enough pace in the attacking, you know, getting forward for Man City, but, you know, does Pep see that as just adding another number? Is that where we can get an advantage? So it'll be interesting to see like what we see tonight. But I mean, if he's banging in goals like that from the edge of the area, then,
From left back.
right? You know.
Insane finish.
What will be with Gundo and Bernardo Silva tonight is that they get up and support Erling. You know, that it doesn't get isolated. You know, in recent games in this system, Kevin's seems to be the one that's been the furthest forward one in support of Erling. So. It might be both of them at times. You know, Gundo likes to make that third man run in behind, but I would imagine Bernardo, more often than not, when you've got the ball, will be in at close vicinity to Erling Haaland and Jack and Riyad.
Yeah, because of course Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne have struck up this just dream partnership that I think we were all hoping for. With no Kevin De Bruyne tonight, Paul, it does mean we'll just give the others out. Let's see it as an opportunity for the others to provide for Haaland.
It does. We said it before. You know, when you're missing a player like Kevin De Bruyne, the other big players in the team have to step up and take the game by the scruff of the neck. You know, and Jack Grealish has been amazing at doing that recently. We've spoke about Riyad and. Obviously, Bernardo Silva, whatever position he plays in, is a big player for the team. Just his energy and how he starts the press off. You know, Pep likes to press high up from the front 9 times out of 10. If he's in that middle three, he's the one that starts the press off. So he's so important for the team for so many reasons.
Yeah, and another player that we've seen take the game by the scruff of a neck, of course, is Ilkay Gundogan. Remains criminally underrated for me, Karen. If you don't watch him every week, perhaps you don't appreciate just how much he brings to the team.
I absolutely agree. I mean, he's just simple though, isn't he? He does all the right things at the right time, and I think oftentimes when a player does that, they kind of do go unnoticed. But you know, he's that key link in the transition as well. You know, about progressing the ball upfield and getting involved in the attack, but then also sustaining it. You know, but he's almost like he's a really calm head in transition. He can pick passes. He creates space for himself. He attracts the opposition and creates space for others as well. You know, so I think he's a really multifaceted player in the midfield, and I agree with you. He's really underrated.
He's capable of being a match winner as well.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got it in the locker for sure.
He's so intelligent in how he plays football, and you know, Karen said there that the best players do the basics, the simple things, the best. And he does that, and he's like a little cog in there in the midfield. He keeps things ticking, he keeps things going. Then every now and then you'll see him running in behind and scoring important goals, like we've seen, obviously, Aston Villa, and he seems to do it all the time. And his experience in there, he's a captain, and he's such a calming influence on everybody else, especially when you go away in Europe, intimidating atmospheres. You need somebody like Gundo who's just going to settle everybody down.
He's an incredibly calming presence about him. He does. Anytime when I've been lucky enough to interview him, you do get that real calming sense from him, Karen, which I guess, like Paul said, is so important, especially in knockout competitions.
Oh yeah, I mean, zen, right? You know, I get that vibe as well, and I think, yeah, especially in key transitional moments, you know, you need to be able to understand where the space is, where the threat is, where the pressure is coming from. You know, is it going to be a penetrative pass, or is it going to be one of those situations you have to beat the pressure and then create some space to distribute? You know, you're going centrally, you're going wide. There's so many things that are happening in those really short windows of time, and to be able to interpret all that and kind of make sense of what you're seeing, it's an incredibly difficult skill. You know, so I completely agree. Like I feel like tonight's going to be a big night for him.
Thank you. I was feeling quite nervous with the Kevin news, but I much appreciate that. I feel much better, and I hope that you all do as well. Now, Pep's been in brilliant form in his press conferences lately. I don't know about you, but the second I get a notification on my app, I am watching every press conference that man does at the minute. Well, yesterday he was asked if the Champions League is the ultimate test for him still. Well, this was his response.
I would say, enough for the club, I would say if my career finished tomorrow, because I cannot be manager, but literally tomorrow I will be more than blessed and grateful what I've done with Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and here in Europe or in the competition. So I could never ever expect to have the career I had in the short time, not just for the, I would say, the success that we had all together in this period, 30, 40 years. It's just for the fact, the way we played and the way I love it. So I couldn't more grateful. I cannot ask more. So I think we want to do our best, and our best, I have the illusion to do quarterfinals. It's going to happen, it's going to happen. So at the end, the destiny is already written, and we do our best of what they have done. We have been close, sometimes not, sometimes closer, and it was not an exception now. So this is my feeling. I live that position. So I had the feeling what we have done, all of us, for many years, whatever happened, is going to fail. So whatever I'm doing personally with the future, what I've done in this past, I'm going to fail. Nothing will be enough. Everyone put the perspective that everything is a disaster if you don't win some prizes. But I don't know if everyone put this highest perspective for themselves. And I don't want to put this perspective themselves, because I'm blessed to be here. And I never thought when I arrive every year we have to win every year the Premier League, or every year I have to win 3, 4 Champions League. Except you are Madrid, the rest cannot do it. So it's just to try to what we have done, because last 2 seasons we are being really close, and we have played really, really good games, really once, and try to do it again.
Love him. Absolutely love him. How blessed are we to have that man in charge of us? Some really interesting points he made in that press conference as well. Darius, the kind of instant impression that I got from that was that he's trying to take the pressure off the players. All the talk about winning the Champions League, he's trying to do his part.
Yeah, I've got that as well, and I've got that on a number of occasions when I've watched him do interviews, and fair play to him for doing that. Sign of a good manager. He looks relaxed as well and composed. We all know that he's a winner. We can tell deep down that there's something churning away inside of him. So hopefully that passes on to the players tonight, and the players can be composed and give him the result that he wants.
Yeah, and when he was talking about nothing being good enough, Paul, I often think that. I think, what do we need to win? It feels like whatever happens, whatever we win, there's always, it feels like for some people it is never good enough. And I love the fact that he says that, and he's fine with it. He's calm with it now. He's accepting of it.
He is, but he tends to come out with these sort of interviews around the knockout stages of the Champions League. Because I think everybody's looking from the outside. It's all City have to win the Champions League this year. It's got to be this year. Pep's got to do it this year. It should have been last year. They should have done better. So every now and then, whether it's the last 16 or the quarter-finals going into the semi-finals, he just has that calming influence, and it shuts everybody up, because no reporter can come back with another question after that if they're trying to dig in at him.
But deep down, he wants to win the Champions League. We all know it.
He wants to win everything. He wants to win every single game. He wants to win every single trophy he's in. But he's also realistic enough to know that it's impossible to do that every season.
Yeah. I want to win the Champions League more than anything, but if we never do, it will never take away from what an incredible team we are. In terms of managers, Karen, managers that have taken charge of more than 50-plus games in the Champions League, he has the highest win percentage of any manager, 63% of games. He has phenomenal record in the Champions League.
Yeah, he is, absolutely. And I mean, let's not forget the progress that we've made, at Man City as well. I think people seem so quick to just kind of discard the history that he's created since he's been here as well, So, for me, it just feels like a matter of time, in terms of the decision making in those key moments. But I feel like he knows his squad really, really well now, and I think there is a level of calm, and maybe it's rubbing off from Gundo, I don't really know, but it's he certainly seems quiet in his confidence. And I mean, there are elements, though, I think it's quite funny that the media is trying to drive this narrative that it isn't really there, but they're trying to perpetuate it, and I feel like there's times where you hear answers like that and he's just trying to focus on enjoying the moment, where he's just he's sick of talking about it.
Ask me a different question.
He's so sick of talking about it.
It's almost as if he wants to win it just so he doesn't get asked that question. It happens every press conference.
I feel like that as a fan, though, just so they can stop saying it to us as well. And That's not a reason to, but it would be nice though.
Shut a lot of people up.
That would be nice. I know you all agree as well. So we had the Leipzig team news a little bit earlier, delivered pitchside by the happiest man in the world, FG. But we do need to focus a little bit more on our German opponents tonight. So we thought, who better to help us than Bundesliga commentator? And if you shut your eyes while you're listening to him, you might recognise him because he is the voice of FIFA video games. His name is Derek Ray, and we caught up with him earlier this week to get the lowdown on Marco Rosa's men and who could pose the biggest threat over the two legs.
He's not afraid to tweak things here and there, Marco Rosa, whether it is 4-2-3-1 or having a second striker according to the opponents. I think having those two players in front of the four is always very important. We're talking about the two Austrians, Konrad Laimer and Xavier Schlager, who's in his first season with the club, and they complement each other perfectly and allow the more creative players to do their jobs. It's a pretty solid back four. They don't have their first choice goalkeeper at the moment. They haven't for some time. They won't for the rest of the season. Peter Gulacsi because of an ACL. So Yanis Blaswich has been the deputy. Able goalkeeper, not of the calibre of Gulacsi, I think it's fair to say. But there is a solidity about them, and they're very hard to beat, difficult to play against at home. I wouldn't say it's the most atmospheric stadium in Germany. It's not bad, but it's not a stadium on a par with Frankfurt or Dortmund or somewhere like that on a big European night that might somehow strike fear in the opposition. I mean, these are hardened professional players, so I think sometimes we overplay that anyway. Nkunku was the player of the first part of the campaign in an attacking sense, together with Niklas Füllkrug of Werder Bremen, and came back at the weekend there against Wolfsburg. He's not, I understand, going to be able to start this match. That's what Marco Rosa has said. They want to be a little bit careful with him because it's a long haul for Leipzig in all competitions. They are currently, to use the German expression, dancing at three weddings. That means taking part in three different competitions in the league title race, in the DFB Pokal, that's the cup, and also the Champions League. So they want to be a little bit careful and not overtax him. So, yeah, it does give everybody a big lift because Nkunku is a special player and we're only going to be able to enjoy him in Germany for a few more months. But he is a difference maker with his finishing, with his setting up teammates, with his pace, with his dribbling, with his shooting, everything. I mean, he's an attacking player, an all-rounder who really has got the lot. I think Werner's the kind of player who suits Leipzig very well, now in his second spell with the club. He was really the ultimate, I used that word gegenpressing earlier, the gegenpressing type forwards. And so many of Leipzig's goals previously, before he made the move to Chelsea, were examples of winning the ball around the halfway line, chipping it quickly over the top, and Werner out-racing defenders who had got a bit too high up. And people don't quite make that same mistake now. As I mentioned, the style has changed a bit. But, yeah, I'm sure somewhere within Werner there is that desire to say to everybody, look, you know, I'm a lot better than what I showed. And so far, the move back to Leipzig has been a beneficial one for him. He's the kind of player, Szoboszlai, if you take your eye off him for a fleeting moment, he can really do damage. And he can do damage with his long-range shooting. And we've seen this time and again. Give him an inch and he'll take a mile. And he's very confident, whether it's free kicks, whether it's even in the run of play. That is in his repertoire. So, he's somebody who Marco Rosa has worked with before. In Salzburg, they were together. And he's somebody who has flourished this season. He's got better this season and most times has to be in the side, I think it's fair to say. They know full well that Manchester City are the favourites in this tie. If they could knock them out, it would be a huge coup. But, they've put together some pretty good home performances in Europe since the departure of Domenico Tedesco, when it all went wrong against Shakhtar. They've been excellent in the Champions League. And so who's to say they can't get a result, even though they know City are favourites?
Thank you so much to Derek Ray there. Now, we saw FG pitchside a little bit earlier on today, and he had, well, a bit of a smug look on his face. I think he won't mind me saying that, especially when you find out why. Because our esports team took on Leipzig last night in a special event.
I'm in Leipzig and I'm about to play FIFA on that big screen over there. Ryan, Shells, I'm taking your job. All right, we are all finished. Unsurprisingly, we didn't manage to get the win, but the show must go on. We're on the way to the arena, and we're going to see 3 exhibition matches, including an appearance from our very own Ryan and Shells and me again. Let's go. What was that?
What's wrong now? Pressure. You've got pressure. Oh. Pressure. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. Hey, we got it. I told you we did this. We did this.
If anyone needs a pro, here I am, unbeaten on Matchday Live. Oh.
Yes, FG won his game. We will never hear the end of that. Well done, FG. We're very proud of you. Shells and Ryan also played online against Leipzig. Shells won 5-3, but unfortunately Ryan lost 4-1. But that does mean it was a 2-1 win for City. We've got to tell you as well that Ryan lost to Anders. He holds the longest running ultimate team streak of 536 wins in a row.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Well done, Anders. Very good. Now, it's not only our men's team that will be competing in European competition this month. Our EDS squad will be travelling to Croatia next week to play Hajduk Split in the UEFA Youth League round of 16. Now, you might have already seen this across City's channels over the last week, but we hosted some of the squad right here in our studio to watch the draw take place and then to get the reaction. Let's have a little look.
Welcome here to the House of European Football in Nyon for the draw for the 2022-23 UEFA Youth League round of 16 and remaining knockout phase.
The team drawn out is Manchester City. They will travel to Croatia to play HNK Hajduk Split.
We've just discovered we'll play Hajduk Split in the round of 16. How do you feel about that, Oscar?
I think it will be a good game. Don't know too much about them, but I'm sure it will be a good challenge, and yeah, we're all excited.
And we know that if we're going to get to the final, Shay, we'll have to play away every single game. So how much of an impact will that make?
I feel like it'll be a bit of a challenge, all the travelling. But this year we've travelled well, and we've not lost away in the youth league yet. So I feel like there's confidence among the group. So yeah.
And it's quite a quick turnaround as well, Carlos. If we do get to the final, it's before the end of April. How important is it having so many games in such quick succession?
It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. But as long as we stick as a group and we'll do things right and together, I think we should be able to make it through.
We saw the rest of the draw as well, Oscar. We know that if we beat Hajduk Split, we'll play Dortmund or PSG. Are you looking ahead to that, or is it all focused on beating Split?
I think it's hard not to, but I think the right thing to do is just look at the game. We know we're going to play, and if we want to get anywhere, we need to win that. So we all need to be focused on that and try our best to go through first.
This is the first time we've made it to the knockout phase of the UEFA Youth League since 2018, Shade. Has Brian told you about how important this competition is for the club?
Yeah, obviously it's been a while. It's a proud moment for us as a group to bring the club to this stage, and just hopefully we can go further.
And Carlos, finally, we're in good form at the moment. We're now top of the Premier League 2 table. How important is it that we keep that form up going into these UEFA Youth League games?
It's good because it keeps the spirit high, the confidence up, and if we keep winning on Premier League 2, it gives the confidence, that little edge to go and do well in the UEFA Youth League games.
Thank you, guys. Good luck in the UEFA Youth League.
Thank you very much.
So our EDS side will be in the Croatian city of Split next week for the UEFA Youth League round of 16. All the knockout games, by the way, at this point, they are over one leg, not two legs. And it was mentioned there, we already know that should we beat Split, we'll face the winners of Borussia Dortmund or PSG in the quarter-final stage. You might have noticed there, of course, that was Shay Charles in that video, who is on the bench tonight. A well-travelled young man for the next couple of weeks. Darius, you mentioned a little bit earlier on the work that you're doing with young players. Of course, you're a coach at Wolves with the academy.
That's right, yes.
How much do you think this competition is important? How does it benefit them in their development as players?
It's experience. It's experience learning how to do interviews. They obviously looked a little bit uncomfortable there, but they'll get better. But it's massive, great exposure for them. The competition that they possibly wouldn't get week in, week out, coming off the bench and having a big part place in the first team. They're going to get that there. They're going to get abundance of that there. So when it is time for them to come on and represent the first team, they're sharp, they're ready, and the manager's got even more confidence in them to go and do the job.
Karen, how much do you value this competition for the development of the young players?
I mean, you've hit all the major key points. I think it is all about experience because not only, now they're doing major interviews and things like that. They're learning what it's like to travel, how to manage fatigue, like how to manage your body, recovery, not getting ahead of yourself in terms of focusing on opponents before you even won that first game, just like managing those moments really well. But then it's also about it's a real key age to get those competitive minutes. To your point, you don't necessarily get that in Premier League 2 consistently. Yeah, exactly. So I guess exposure to that European level of football is a perfect stepping off point to kind of break into the first team as we're obviously seeing here. So massively, massively important part of youth development.
Absolutely best of luck to our EDS team next week. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on that game. Talking of games, it's time for one here in the Matchday Live studio. I love the sudden look on Paul's face where he's like, oh, not another one. Oh, another one they've not told me about as well. So we thought we'd have a little bit of fun before kick-off. We love a game in the studio. Now, there's a game, I don't know if you've ever seen it, on British television where guests are asked to guess 10 answers in a chosen category. So we had this great idea that we would ask you all to guess the 10 German opponents that we have come up against across all European competitions. When we started looking into it, there was one slight issue. We haven't played 10, we've played 7. So our game is now called Sevenable, and we'd like you to guess the 7 German teams that we have competed against all European competitions, and you can play as a team. Right, so feel free, yes, have a little confer between you.
Schalke.
Right, hold on. So do one at a time. One at a time. You're all going for Schalke. Hold on. Schalke is the first one. Is Schalke a Sevenable?
Go on.
It is. Hey. Okay, next one.
Munich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich.
Drum roll.
Yeah, 6 times we've played them.
I'll go for Leipzig.
Paul's going for Leipzig. Yes, Paul.
Are they German?
Leipzig. Leipzig. Yes, we played them twice so far. Okay. Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund. Are they Sevenable? Yes, they are. We've played them 6 times as well. So you've got 4. You've got 3 left
it gets hard.
to get. Yeah. It does get hard now. I'm looking down at my list. There's one team we've played 8 times.
8 times.
We City fans have a joke that we seem to draw them every single year.
Going way back.
No. We feel like we've drawn this club every year in the Champions League for.
What was the game?
Not this year.
Remember the game that got postponed?
It's like Hoffenheim. Is that one of them?
Hoffenheim?
Sorry, I should have consulted.
Are you going for it?
I'm with you there. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Well done. 2. We've gone for it. Okay.
Wolfsburg.
So you've got 2 left.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I've seen that a lot.
Because the game get cancelled, didn't it, for rain, and then
is Wolfsburg on there? Are you having that? Is Wolfsburg a Sevenable?
We agree. Yeah.
I don't have a
I was
buzzer
so
like a.
confident
I
as
know.
well.
No,
Convinced myself.
Wolfsburg. You're missing one where we played 8 times. You're going to kick yourself.
Thinking, is this like, is it? It's not Frankfurt, is it? No.
Can we do what my daughter does and ask what it begins with? What's the first letter?
Not yet.
People are
not yet.
people are
I'm going to
screaming at
stretch
the
this
screen
for a
right
few
now.
more minutes.
People are watching this saying how thick it is.
So you're missing 2. One we've played twice. One we've played 8 times.
This must be so obvious.
I know.
I'm just trying to think of everyone that's doing well at the minute. It's like
Werder Bremen.
Union Berlin. Oh, yeah.
It's a big team, yeah. Oh, that look, yeah, I agree.
What are you going for?
Werder Bremen. What was the game that got postponed through rain?
Okay, I'm being told that bananas is a clue, but I'm missing why bananas is a clue.
Yellow. That's not the team. They're playing yellow.
Inflatable bananas.
Is this where the history came from?
Inflatable bananas. I don't know why that's a clue.
Can I just...
This
Right,
I'm
gonna
riveting
give you-
television.
Hard phone call.
I'm going to get... there's no phone a friend. I'll give you a clue. One of them's a bit of a mouthful.
Mönchengladbach.
Mönchengladbach.
That's the one.
That's the one that got postponed.
Yeah.
8 times. 8 times. Do you know what? The other one could be a bit of a mouthful as well, to be fair, but in a completely different way.
Oh.
That's obviously a good clue because everybody was laughing. And,
Oh my goodness.
I'm not the one for this.
No. One left to get. Come on, you can do it. You can complete the Matchday Live game. 10 seconds to get a mouthful of a team. A German team. Company's old team.
Hamburg.
Hamburg! He said it with 4 seconds to go.
Nice one, Paul.
You like that?
Right, let's not play that again.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
I'm a bit embarrassed.
I think you did very well there. Very well, is it? Very
we
well
got them
as a
all,
team.
teamwork.
You did.
We got them all.
We got there in the end.
And we always appreciate you taking part in our games. You know I love our games. So we are less than 10 minutes now from kickoff. Don't forget, you can get your full match commentary of the game tonight on the City app with the wonderful Alistair Mann. It's the only place to get your City commentary, but you all know that by now, don't you? So I'd love to get some of your final thoughts ahead of the game, because you've made me all feel much better. I was nervous before we started the show, and I feel much better now. So what is your overall feeling about the game, Paul? Give me kind of like what's going to happen tonight.
I'm excited to watch it because it's 2 teams that I'm pretty sure will go after each other, 2 attacking teams. I think it'll be difficult. I mean, we've spoke about every other player tonight. I think who's going to be super important is Rodri. You know, because they're very quick in the transition and like to counter attack, and the amount of times he sits in there and breaks things up, breaks attacks up. So, but no, look, I'm always confident in that. So, do you want a score prediction now?
Not yet. Hold on. Yeah,
don't get ahead of
let's
yourself.
build up the tension a bit more. So you're confident.
Yeah, I think it'll be a difficult game.
Okay.
But I do think that we'll win.
Okay, Karen, how are you feeling about the game?
I think it's going to be tough. I don't want to take any confidence away because I do think we are going to win. I'll tell you the score later. But I'm really looking forward to the matchup between Guardiola and Haaland tonight. I just think they're really just going to take turns throwing punches, hopefully, not literally. And I think it's going to be, a real midfield battle and exchange tonight with, I don't know. I think it's just going to be really open, intense, lots of transition, lots of speed, lots of pace. And I think Red Bull are going to try and get that out of City. But at the same time, I think City are more than well prepared to just be calm and deliberate about how they want to build up and attack. So, I'm looking forward to a good game.
Okay, thank you. No, I like that. Darius, I've got a quick question for you. We've had come in on WhatsApp before we get your thoughts. It's a question that's come in from Yash. Thank you so much for your questions, as always. Can we have you ready on the bench in case we are trailing tonight? Because we never lose when you score.
I wish I could, but I probably could give you about 10 minutes, and that's max. Yeah. But it leads me into my point. I think it is going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's a game that could open up later on. I think Haaland's going to have a difficult battle, and whilst the defenders have got their wits about them and they're sharp, once that dwanes a bit, I think that's when it might open up even more and you might see some goals. Obviously, history tells us there will be goals in the game. And I'm excited. I was a bit anxious at first, and I think I'm a bit like you. I'm relaxed now. I'm looking forward to the game, so bring it on.
If Vass can give you 10 minutes, that's 9 minutes, 50 seconds more than what I could.
And you'd still be deadly in those 10 seconds.
I'll probably get sent off.
In terms of the fact that it is 2 legs, Paul, do we approach the game any different, knowing that we're taking it home in a couple of weeks?
I don't think, as in how Pep wants us to play, we'll approach it any different, because it's the same. It's the same most weeks, and they want to win every single game, whether it be Pep or the players. And I think the main thing, especially in the first leg of a knockout competition, especially when you're going home the second leg, is not to get beat. It's to go back there with a result. But I just think that the players we've got, the attacking threat we've got, as good as they are going forward, they do concede goals themselves. So I just think we've got more quality in the team, but we're going to have to make sure defensively as a unit that we're on it, because they are so quick going forward.
Right, give me your score then.
I'm going to go a comfortable 3-1 Man City.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Karen?
I'm going 2-1 City.
Okay.
2-1.
Are you all going to win?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you going?
I would have taken a draw an hour ago, but now you lot have made me all feel so much better. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. Karen, thank you. And Darius, thank you so much. We'll all be back here at half-time talking about the first 45 minutes. And hopefully, from what these guys say, maybe a couple of City goals in that first 45 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us on Matchday Live this evening. Get your full match commentary now with the wonderful Alistair Mann. That is on the Manchester City app. If you haven't downloaded it already, what are you doing? Get that downloaded. It's the best place to get your commentary. Don't forget as well, we've got the competition running on WhatsApp to win an away shirt. 50% off all away shirts at the Man City shop just now. We're giving away 3 of them tonight. We will tell you the winners of those a little bit later as well. So enjoy it. The Champions League is back. We'll see you in about 45 minutes.
Very warm welcome to Leipzig for what promises to be a mouth-watering clash between City and RB Leipzig in the first leg of the last 16 of the UEFA Champions League. It is one of those fixtures which, in all honesty, you would have plumped for when you looked at some of the teams that City could have met